COVID-19 impact on real estate. We are going through some unprecedented times right now with this coronavirus pandemic. And a lot of people are wondering what is going to be the impact of COVID-19 on real estate. Well, as a realtor and mortgage broker in Calgary, Alberta, I'm going to give you guys my top tips to consider if you're a buyer or a seller. I also have a bonus tip at the end, so you want to make sure you stick around for that. Let's get started. Let's start with buyers first. So as a buyer, there might be some hesitation to buy property as this coronavirus spreads. One of the hesitations could be, the fear of getting infected. The second is job security. Now, as municipalities put restrictions on travel, demand is going to drop for products and services. And this is only going to lead to budget cuts and layoffs. Another hesitation might be in the form of a down payment. Now, I had a client whose down payment was supposed to come from the stock market, but because it's been taking such a huge hit, he wasn't able to pull that money out. Instead, he had to get a gifted down payment from his parents. So here's a bonus tip. If that was your plan and you don't have sufficient funds for the down payment and you can't get a gifted down payment from your immediate family members, then what you can do is either get a co-signer, or you could see if a grandparent is willing to do a reverse mortgage on their property and gift you the equity. Now, I'm not going to go into what a reverse mortgage is. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'd be happy to answer any of them. A great thing though is that interest rates have gone down dramatically. The cost of borrowing is much less now today than what it was even just 2 weeks ago. The Bank of Canada has dropped the rates 1 full percentage point in the span of about a week. So you can take advantage of the cheap borrowing. Another positive is that you could take advantage of potential fear and panic amongst sellers. Here are my tips for buyers. It is now more important than ever to get really crystal clear with your why. As an example, when I see clients, I don't ask them what they want. I ask them why they want those things. And in that conversation and strategy session, the important things to them becomes quite clear and obvious. So it's important that we get really dialed in with your why so that we only see qualified properties. Now, to mitigate the risk of coronavirus, my team and I are implementing some of the following things. The first is pre-screening the sellers. So asking them if they've been exposed to anyone who's tested positive for coronavirus, or if they're showing any symptoms like a fever or have a cough. And for showings, I recommend not touching anything. Also, you could bring your own disposable booties, disposable gloves, you could wear a mask, and bring sanitizer with you so that you can sanitize your hands as soon as you leave the home. Now let's talk about sellers. As a seller, you might be hesitant to show your home, maybe because you have a sensitivity to higher risk. If you had kids or grandparents living with you, and if you have a conditional deal, know that that could be at risk as well for the same reasons as I mentioned above with buyers, job security, their down payment, and things like that. And if you did put together a deal and you're supposed to do any repairs or maintenance on the home where you have to hire someone to come by, know that it might not get done. Real estate could come to a grinding stop. If there's any further restrictions to local travel other than to places like the grocery store, the hospital, and the pharmacy. So my advice for sellers is this. It's better to sell sooner than later because you're fighting against 3 major elements. The first element is obviously the coronavirus. The micro impact of that is buyers, job security, they might not have their down payment, and they might have a fear of visiting homes because they might get infected. The macro impact of that is the economic and financial consequences of businesses, facilities, shutting down and the city imposing travel restrictions. The second element is oil and gas. With the price war between the Russians and the Saudis, and the fact that in Alberta, 25% of our GDP comes from oil and gas, it will no doubt have an impact on our local economy. And third is the potential of a recession. It's a very real possibility, and it could happen on a global scale. Here are my tips for sellers. Videos and 3D tours are more important now than ever. Pictures aren't going to work because buyers are going to be even pickier with the houses that they want to go see. So you need a video that will be able to show the floor plan and as well as the flow of the entire home. It has to make it as real of an experience as if they were right there in your living room. We do recommend that you do disinfect your home and common surfaces after all your showings, especially things like your kitchen counter, light switches, and door handles. Now, another thing that you could do is also pre-screen the buyers and the buyer's agent. Ask them if they've been feeling sick or if they've been exposed. And in terms of open houses, they're pretty much going to be eliminated. In this environment, it's likely that buyers and sellers will want to reduce their exposure if it's not necessary. Before we go into our bonus tip, I hope that I've provided some valuable information for you guys. If I have, I would be so grateful if you support our channel and subscribed. If you want more videos like this, feel free to hit the notification bell for our future videos. And if you want to reference this video in the future, make sure you hit the like button. Here is my bonus tip. If you're a homeowner or you're a seller and you've decided to take your property off the market because you're going to stay put for a few years, or if you know someone else that has a mortgage, take a look at the option of refinancing your property. Now, you can take advantage of super low rates right now because the Bank of Canada last week had dropped interest rates by 1% in about a span of a week. So the cost of borrowing is a lot cheaper now. Now, you will need 20% equity in order to refinance, and you most likely will incur a payout penalty. Make sure you call your lender and ask them what the payout penalty is, and if it's the interest rate differential or 3 months interest. To wrap it up, I want to leave you with a few key points. The first one is that real estate will still keep moving. It's uncertain where this coronavirus pandemic is going to take us, but one thing that we do know is that people will still need to buy homes and people will still need to sell them. The second is, even though buyers might be hesitant in this market, they're going to be financially motivated because they want to take advantage of the low cost of borrowing. And lastly, the slowdown from COVID-19 should be temporary. We will recover from this. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If you have any comments or want to engage in conversation, feel free to put it in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts on where the real estate industry is going, given the impact of the coronavirus. My name is Felix with the LiveInnerCity Real Estate Team, helping you keep real estate simple. And we'll see you in the next video.